Hi, and welcome back to the Positive Prepper. So, we're going to talk about a couple of different things tonight. And I don't have a script. I'm just going to talk from the heart tonight. I want to catch up a little bit on what's been going on as far as prepping. So we have finally gotten my mom's cabin down to where her and my sister can move into the addition part. That's going really well. That took up a lot of our time and energy, but we're so thankful. God has been so gracious in helping us to get this done. So I know that they're very happy. We're very happy. That took up a lot of our time. But that doesn't mean that we haven't been doing other things in the meantime. We have been doing, well, and I can't say we. I've been working quite a bit, so I haven't had a huge hand in the prepping part. But my husband and my sister have been canning like crazy. My sister's been perfecting canning potatoes, which, is pretty essential as far as hardiness, the starch. Excuse me. My husband's been doing a lot of the herbs and spices. We are working on some different tinctures and oils. He found a way now to do a natural, it's like a salve for fibromyalgia as well as arthritis. I think they're two separate ones. So we're going to look into that and try to make our own salves for that. I think that's what they are. And then, just the normal, the holidays are, Christmas is coming. So everybody's busy with the holidays and whatnot. But I am never too far away from everything that's been going on. Not just here in the United States, but around the world. And so I want to talk a little bit about that, but then I also, again, I want to go back to what should you be doing, okay? So the first thing, I don't know why, when somebody dies, it's a tragic thing. It always is. There's always family that are impacted by it. But I have to say that I was extremely happy when Mr. Penny was found not guilty in the subway incident. When I was going to school for my mental health counseling degree, one of the things that we talked about in one of my classes was that people are less apt to intervene. And nowadays, instead of people intervening when something bad is happening, they just take out their cell phones and take pictures and videos, because it ups their ratings. That's not how we're supposed to be as a society. We are supposed to intervene when wrong is being done. There is no greater sacrifice than to lay down your life for another. And Mr. Penny did what any upstanding, God-fearing person would do, or should do. When other people are being threatened, he stepped in and intervened. That's just my opinion. You guys might have a different opinion, but you know me, what you see is what you get. So I was thankful that he was able to be found not guilty. I know he still has the civil case. They're trying to make that this was a racial thing. It wasn't. Not in any sense of the word. He was just doing what he thought he needed to do to protect the people on the subway. So I just want to throw that out there. Second thing, I don't know why there is such this big hoopla about this guy that killed the CEO for a health insurance company. Again, every death is tragic. I get that. I also know that it's been talked about that Nancy Pelosi either, I think she bought a bunch of stock or dumped a bunch of stock, like not that long before this gentleman was killed. We somehow found him, although if you look at the pictures, the eyebrow thing doesn't really match, in my opinion. So is that a scapegoat? Did somebody have him killed, and are they framing this guy? I don't know. I don't know the truth about any of it, and quite frankly, I don't care. Okay? It's not that I don't care about human life, but I care more about the women and the children that are being traumatized and victimized by the illegals coming across our border than I do some CEO of a company. It's not like any life is worth more or has more value, but I don't understand why this particular story is such a big deal. I just don't. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, the big story that's going on right now is these drones. So they've been seen in, not just here in the United States, you know, New Jersey, New York, Virginia, Philadelphia. Now they're being seen in California, and they've been seen in the UK. That's my understanding. So there's two things that I want you to remember as I'm making this video, as I'm talking about this. There's two things I want you to remember. The first one is that we only have 40 days. Sorry, it's cold down here. We only have 40 days roughly until Trump takes office. And what has been my common denominator? They don't want him to be. They don't want him to be able to take the oath of office on January 20th. Okay? The second thing is, and again, this has been, you know, a normal statement from me, is that they want as much war as possible to get their money before he does get in there, because they know that all of this chaos is going to stop. So I want you to remember those two things as I continue on talking about the drones. So there was a congressman that came out and said that these are Iranian drones that came from a mothership from off the coast, right, off the Atlantic coast. How can the U.S. government come out and say absolutely they are not Iranian if they don't know what they are or who is sending them up? Okay? If they can positively say that they are not Iranian, then tell us who they're from. Because if you can say that, you should be able to say the rest of the statement, in my opinion. They haven't been able to do that. So why are they not being shot down or captured? The FAA, they can have these drones shot down. They can have them captured. Our U.S. government can do it. Or Department of Homeland Security, Department of Defense. You know, send up the Air Force. Send some F-16s up there and just start blowing them out of the sky. You know, send up some helicopters with some big nets. I mean, seriously, there's things they can do. But remember, we are still under this certain administration that allowed this spy balloon from Alaska all the way to the Carolina coast. You know, let's wait. Let's let them get all the info they can and then we'll act like we're doing something about it. So, and they're also saying that these are not like hobbyists. And I think the reason that they're saying that, number one, is because from my understanding, these drones can actually, they can shut their lights off. Other people have tried to send up other drones to get pictures, videos of these other drones, and their batteries are being drained. Some of the areas that these drones are going over, their cars won't start, their clocks stop, you know, their microwaves don't work. That tells me EMP, some kind of sophisticated targeted EMP blast, whatever. But if it were hobbyists, so, you know, I believe that the rule is if you have a drone, like if I were to send up a drone, I have to have it in eyesight. Okay. But these are coming from offshore, so out of the Atlantic, coming onshore and going hundreds of miles inland. Well, you can't keep an eye on that if they're that far away. Okay? So, and then the Pentagon is also coming out and say, well, they're not U.S. military drones. Again, how do you know that? How do you know they're not Iranian? How do you know that they're not U.S. military drones? If you can say that, then you should be able to tell us what they are and where they're from. But they can't do that. Is it a possible black book program from the deep state? I don't know. Did we really spend $10,000 on that toilet seat? Okay. Remember that we've been sending all this money over to Ukraine. What are they doing with that money? We sent all this money to Iran. What are they doing with that money? Okay. I don't believe that Russia would have anything to do with that. They're not really our adversary. They're not really anything to us at this point. But, so what are they? And why are we not trying to figure that out? Now, I'll tell you what. If these came over Wisconsin, Minnesota, maybe, I would say more Wisconsin, those suckers are going to get shot down. There's enough people out here, myself included, that would not want these things flying overhead. I would take it out. And since they're already saying that they are not U.S. government drones, there's nothing that could stop me from shooting one down. Right? Again, they're saying that, well, we don't know what they are, we don't know who they're from, but they're no threat to the public. Just, you know, just ignore them. Everything's fine. We're looking into it. Right? No threat to the public. I remember back in 2020 and 2021, where there was something else that they said was no threat to the public. And it turned out they were wrong. They also said, trust us. We have your safety in mind. How well did that work out? And now we're supposed to just trust them that these are no threat to the public. I mean, these guys, I don't know if you guys are following this, but they are coming in swarms. Like 150 drones at a time. 180 drones at a time. And we can't capture one to figure out where these suckers are coming from. BS. Either they don't want to, or they already know. Remember, these things don't happen unless somebody wants it to. Somebody wants these to be where they are. And now they've been seen in California, kind of in the same swarm-like capacity. So is this a black op from our own military? Is this going to be a false flag that will send people into a major panic, coincidentally right before the inauguration? Actually, potentially before the votes are even certified on January 6th. Is it possible? Are these drones capable of chemical weapons? Are they capable of EMPs? EMP weapons. Are they capable of carrying nuclear weapons? I'm hearing some people say yes, these are the size of SUVs, some of them. Could that carry a small strategic nuclear weapon? Probably. These drones went in over, is it Langley Air Force Base in Virginia? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But could this be a major false flag? All of this ties together because remember that they're trying to leak out all of this UFO intelligence out into the mainstream public, right? And now coincidentally, right after they start doing this, we have all these drones. It's been about a month that these drones have been showing up. I think we're being set up for something big, guys. I really do. I think I have 3 scenarios. And I'm not sure which way to lean on this. So hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and put in the comment section what you think, what your theory is about these drones. I have 3, and I'm not sure which one is more realistic and which one's not. So the first one, because they're saying that the technology, which again, how would they know this? They are saying, the government, our U.S. government is saying that these drones have technological capabilities that we don't have. Again, how do we know that if you haven't already captured one and already know where it's coming from? Okay, so if they have this technology that is way advanced from anything anybody on the planet has, then it's UFOs. So it's either aliens or demons. Okay. The second possibility, the second theory is that they actually are from an adversarial country. And they are testing what their capabilities are. Now, how are they getting them here is my question. I had read some reports today that some people on the Atlantic coast, I don't remember what beach, but they actually saw these coming up out of the water. Is there a submarine that's big enough to carry drones the size of SUVs? That many of them? Did we accidentally allow a Syrian major aircraft carrier come in that has all these drones set, on the deck, ready to just fly up and come back? I don't know. Is it possible? And then the third option, obviously, is that our government knows exactly where these came from. They know exactly which technology companies are behind them, and they're doing it for a reason. It's on purpose. And I would put $1,000 bet on the fact that if that's the case, the CIA knows. And they are covering it up. They are telling the news media what to say. These are no threat to the public. We know they're not Iranian. We know that for a fact. And we know for a fact they're not hobbyists. And we know for a fact that they are not our own government military drones. If you know those three things already, then you know exactly where they're from. Why aren't you telling the American people? Or the people in the UK? So I just wanted to bring this up here. I think we're in for something big, guys. I don't know what these are for. I don't know what they're testing. I don't know what their targets are. Obviously not anything good. If I see one fly over my property, I will shoot it down. No question. And I hope that if there's anybody in the South on here watching, that you would also maybe take that opportunity. If the government is coming out and saying they are not U.S. government drones, then there's nothing that stops you, in my opinion. So what do we do about it? How do we prepare? That's kind of a tough question because we don't know why they're here. What is their motive? Right? What is the reason? What are they doing? Are they gathering intelligence? Are they scoping out military bases? Are they just testing like how far inland they can go before anybody decides to go, hey, wait a minute, you shouldn't be here? Which I'm sorry, they should have already done a month ago when the first one showed up. I don't know. I don't know what their motive is. But I do believe that we are headed to a major false flag. Put in the comment section below what you think. So how do we prepare for that? You just keep doing what you're doing. Okay? If it's an EMP attack, you know, obviously you're going to have to live without electricity, without a vehicle running, unless you have your electronics in Faraday bags, you know, stuff like that, some kind of protection. That's what's going to end up happening. If it's targeted nuclear capabilities, you know, obviously that's going to start a major war. Which, when that congressman brought up the fact that these are coming from this Iranian mothership, again, is that a way to start that major war before January so that a certain person never gets into office? I don't know, is it possible? These drones would not be here unless someone wanted them to be. And unless someone wanted them to continue to be in the vast amount that they are here. So keep preparing like you need to be. Okay, we're coming into a very harsh winter. Okay, I'm up here in Wisconsin. You know, we have been in a blast chiller for the last 2 days. Temperature is barely getting above 0. It's going to be a harsh winter. So anything that knocks out the power grid or creates this kind of chaos is going to make it really hard for people in cold climate. So you need to prepare for that. You need to have your alternative heat. Okay, we put a wood stove in my mom's cabin so that she didn't have to worry about heat when the grid goes down. Okay? You need to have your food. You should have your propane tanks filled, especially if you count on that for alternative heat. You know, propane heaters. Have you checked your generators to make sure that your heat and your lights will still come on? Do you have your necessary medical equipment? If you are on a medical device like a CPAP or oxygen or, whatever it may be that requires electricity, do you have your backup for that? Okay, do you have enough of your medical? Do you have your prescriptions filled? Do you have medical supplies? I have said in videos, the last probably 3 or 4 videos, we will not be out of the woods until after January 20th. Anything can happen between now and then, and you need to be ready for it. These MS-13 gangs, these Tren de Aragua people from Venezuela that are coming up, and they're spreading like syrup on pancakes. They're going into the more rural areas because they know that it's going to be harder for them to be caught. Everybody's expecting them in these sanctuary cities or places like New York, Chicago, LA, Atlanta, right? Dallas, Fort Worth. That's why they're spreading out into the more rural areas. And that is going to increase the closer to inauguration date we get. So you need to stay vigilant on your own property. Do you have your defense set up? Okay, if it's 25 below out, do you have the necessary clothing, the necessary equipment to go out there in that kind of weather, 2 feet of snow on the ground, to pay attention to what's going on outside your home or your bug in or bug out location? Okay, these are things you need to be thinking about. And I wouldn't be playing around with this. We all have been having dreams about wars and explosions and absolute chaos. And it's not because we sit in front of the news for 24 hours a day. I worked, like today, right? I subbed today. I'm not sitting by the news. I'm not even, I check my phone up for news breaks. And then I go on doing what I have to do for the students. But there's something going on. There's something, it's still been too quiet. Everything is too nice, if that makes sense. Yeah, you have your lefties melting down, blah, 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 whatever. But you look outside of that, it's still been, it's too nice. It's too quiet. From almost every angle. So think about that. I apologize for the length of this video, but I wanted to get all of this out. Please hit that like button. Please. And put in your comment in the comment section below what you think these drones are all about, why you think they're here, where you think they came from. If you live on the East Coast or in the UK and you've seen these and you've been able to video them, put that in the comments below. Let other people see. In the next video that I'm going to do, because I really want to cover this Disease X thing, there's a video that I sent to my sister that is really, really disturbing. And I believe it came from Israel. And I want to show that to you if you haven't seen it. So in my next video, I'm going to put that in there so that you can, I couldn't explain it. So I'm going to put that in my next video. But for this one, where do you think they're from? Why do you think they're here? What's your theory about why our government isn't doing anything? And then keep preparing. Maybe up that a little bit. But in the meantime, stay safe. Stay vigilant, and God bless.